Meeting coming up in about 4 or 5 minutes. I thought you guys might really like this because it's kind of cool and unique, and you get to see the business side of things. Hello, hello. Hi, how's it going, Sarah? I'm doing well. Oh, absolutely. I got to go snowboarding and hit the mountains this winter, which felt good. Yeah. We ended up going actually to Jiminy Peak, my friend and I. I got your stuff from before in your email. Let me just take a second to pull that up. Awesome. And thank you, by the way. You're like right on the point with like all that stuff, so congratulations. When you're starting a YouTube channel or starting getting into the photo and filmmaking industry, everyone has their 2 cents and it gets very overwhelming very quick. I've done this personally. I've joined a Discord where it was overwhelming how many people were willing to just give advice, tell you why this camera was better than this camera. People started arguing back and forth, telling me why which way is right versus another way. And it wasn't until a friend of mine actually said to me, you need to just sit down and figure out what works best for you. Now, if you don't understand how great of advice that actually is, then you need to find some better friends. So many people these days want to tell you why you're wrong for choosing an idea versus going a different route. Me personally, I always look at, okay, you know, what's an affordable budget? What can you work within? And what is the job at hand that you're actually trying to get done? Do you need to spend, you know, thousands and thousands of dollars on this one particular camera? Or are you okay with spending, you know, $1,000 just to get into the hobby? If you're looking at a $500 camera option, realistically, I think it comes down to the fact that you need to really be looking at your financial situation. Buying a camera at that price point just does not make sense. And to really get into the hobby and immerse yourself, I always tell people look at a mid-tier camera setup. What I always recommend personally is starting off with around a $1,200 budget. You know, figuring out a good camera in that price point will get you so many options. It's unbelievable. As well, it will even give you options for future proofing, from lenses to software to what the brand itself will actually offer to you. So for someone who's just making small videos and vlogs and stuff, getting away with something like this, a RX-100, this is the Mark IV series, is probably more than enough. This is something that's great for just a little point and shoot, a little safety cam, crash cam, all sorts of different things. Speaking of crash cams, by the way, this is the camera that I got hit by a car while holding, and it still works today. Great cameras overall. The Mark V or Mark VI is out now. I'll post a link down below for those who want to see it. But if those of you who are just looking to make like vlogs and quick little videos, maybe some photos, this is what I would personally recommend start doing. Is looking at cameras like this. You know, unless you're really pushing the limitations and really trying to get into the hobby. Now, that being said, me personally, I started off making a lot of my videos mainly with this. This is an A7R2, and I just have an 18-105 f4 lens on it. This is what got me through all my college career. This is why I shot every video I did in college, including some of the stuff moving forward. And it wasn't until I got an 85mm lens that I decided to really start pushing myself. And then I also got 50 and so on and so forth. I have a few different lenses now that I use. The A7R2, let's go over it. These things you can find used for anywhere from I think it's $1,500 right now. They're a great camera for both photo and video. It shoots S-Log2, which is going to be the biggest limitation, as well as still 8-bit video. Now, if you're using a camera like my FX30, my FX30 is, you know, a 10-bit video camera. It's an APS-C sensor, but the reason why going with a camera like that gives me the future proofing and stuff that I'm looking for. It's a camera that goes around $1,500 brand new, or you can find it on sale sometimes for $13, or you can find it used probably around $12. There's so many other things too that make videos look great, sound great, and so many aspects to videography that everybody just rushes and it's I need the best camera and the best lens. When a lot of the time it's really coming down to your limitation could be lighting, or your limitation could be audio. There's so many things that honestly are causing more of an issue than the camera and lens itself. Me personally, I've been doing this since I was around 14 years old now, and I've been in the photography and filmmaking game for many years and trying to figure out my next steps with it, of course. But what I'm getting at is to shoot things and do things in a proper way for what you're trying to do is the key aspect of what you need to look at. It all really comes down to personal preference as well. It really comes down to what do you actually need. So one of the big things I'm working on right now is a personal investment list. It's a list that will forever be growing and building on top of things, keeping cameras such as my A7R II around and keeping the FX30 as like crash cam down the road. One of the biggest things is that we can always evolve our other equipment too. Stuff from like lights to stands to even microphones right now. With just releasing finally 32-bit floats into the consumer market, this is absolutely wild that we can even do that. Looking at a light that could be $159 versus a light that's $200. What are the actual differences that you're getting out of it? You know, most of my stuff is run and gun. I'm not always going to need tube lights, or I'm not always going to need little key lights. Like, for example, right now, this little guy. This is just a little newer light that I keep in my pocket when I'm shooting a wedding. They're like 25, 35 bucks. They fit right in my jean pocket while I'm working, and I absolutely love it. It gets the job done and more. And it's all I need for a quick little light. If you're shooting more higher end, let's say corporate clients to cinematography, movie styles and stuff like that, that's going to be a very, very different situation than what I'm going to be using for my lighting sources. I need to have items and find balances with items that can get beaten up, and in case they do break, I can go buy another one. Or I might need something a little more robust I know is going to get constant abuse, so I might choose something like a nan light over an aperture light. And it's all variation on what you're going to be looking at and what you're going to be looking at doing. You know, what is best for your needs and situation? You know, what I'm doing is completely different than what you're doing. And it's not a right or wrong situation. It's setting it up to be a good way of doing things. I hope that all makes sense. I hope this doesn't make me sound like a crazy person talking like this, or, you know, bringing people down to earth. I don't think it's a topic most people look at properly. Building up the clientele and building up situations where you're leading into your next product purchases is kind of more of an important thing. You know, getting yourself to the point where you're able to save away 20% of what you're making just for personal savings and then invest the rest back into your corporation is something that a lot of people, I think, overlook these days and aren't major aspects that people are even considering right now. The ultimate goal is to make 3 videos a week for you guys. We're at roughly 1 a week right now with some Instagram reels and YouTube reels, but stay tuned because we're definitely getting to that 3. This week will be 2. See you guys soon, and see you in the next video.